pay close attention and create a database, something like this. This is the data that we will use later for all our calculations. This database is going to be the core database on which you will dynamically pick and choose different natives. This is going to be your engine on which your entire tool is going to run. Hello friends, I am Dr. Ramesh Tangavel from AIML Astrology. Happy to meet you again on another lesson. If you are new to this channel, I have been teaching mathematical astrology using Excel through these videos. This is the fifth lesson in the series. If you have not watched other videos, I request you to go back and look at the earlier lessons to get a better understanding of what we have covered so far. These videos are available in both Tamil and English languages. Let us get started. In today's lesson, we are going to talk about how do we create and maintain a database containing the planetary positions for each individual that we are consulting. You may be wondering why we need to create such a database. Since we are not directly integrating any astrological software into the custom tool that we are building, it becomes necessary that we create small database of the planetary positions that we can refer it later. The whole purpose here is creating your own tool, and hence these additional steps are required. In the previous lesson, we saw about how do we cast a horoscope using a popular astrology software. In today's lesson, we are going to cover creating a planetary positions database. In the earlier video, we saw about birth details database and how do we cast the birth horoscope. Today, we are going to see how do we create a small database containing planetary positions. Any custom tool that you are going to build will involve three components. First one is a calculations component, and second one is the visualization component, which is typically like Rasi charts and graphs and bar charts, everything. And third part would be adding your own custom predictions based on the outcome you get from a calculation. Today, we will see a little bit about different chart styles that are in vogue. The one you see on the top left is called the Eastern style chart. In this chart, typically the Lagna will be at the bottommost left. Planetary positions are marked anti-clockwise, as you can see in the chart here. You can also see that the four boxes have like crossed lines on the corners. And if you count total, there will be 12 houses or 12 Rashis. If you move to the top right, that's how you will see a chart cast using a Western astrological system. This will be a circular chart. The Rashi names being mentioned on the outer side, planetary positions marked inside. Move down to the southern style chart, which is the bottom left. You will see the Rashis are always fixed, and it starts clockwise. If you go down to the bottommost right, you see the northern style chart, which is also called a diamond chart. In the northern style chart, you will see the Lagna always being marked in the top of the diamond. It goes anti-clockwise, just like the eastern chart. Both in eastern and northern chart, the Lagna position is fixed. But if you take the southern chart and western chart, the Lagna position is not fixed. Rashis are fixed, and Lagna can move anywhere within those Rashis. These are the basic differences between different chart styles. Let us get to know more about the ones that we are going to use in our exercise. In this chart, I have shown you both south as well as north style charts. If you take the south side chart, The 0 degree of our measurement starts with Mesha Rasi, then it moves towards the right. So each Rashi consists of 30 degrees. So you will have a 30-degree boundary. If you have Mars here as at 17 degree, it means 17 plus 30, which is 57 degree. It goes clockwise. To the right, we see a diamond chart or North Indian style chart. Kendras inside the diamond, and additionally, you will have two trines at the bottom. If somebody has more planets in the Kendra, then they tend to be a team player. If a Lagna Lord sits in one of those trines, then he is more of an independent contributor. He doesn't depend on others. That's how we make the readings. Now let's move on to how Rasi chart will look. This is the horoscope I cast using Mylapore 4th February 2023 at 4:45 p.m. IST. On the right hand side you see is the typical South Indian chart. The South Indian chart offers quite a bit of fitment into the Excel framework, as you might have seen in other chart styles. So they are not very easily incorporatable within an Excel framework which consists of rows and columns. So in our exercise, we will primarily focus on a South Indian style chart. But once you know the different chart styles, it is easy for you to make the interpretations and calculations. If you see the top left, this is where typically the Jagannatha Hora will provide you an output consisting of the planetary names and as well as their longitude. As you remember, the ecliptic longitude coordinates are the ones we use in Indian astrology. This software provides you with a list of planet names and their planetary positions. You will also find more calculations, but for our purposes, so we will start from Lagna and we will end with Mandi here. Jagannatha Hora doesn't offer you longitude from a 0 to 360 scale, rather it offers you the planetary positions by Rasi. So in this case, if you look at Lagna 2 CN, it means 2 degree in Cancer, and after that 14 minutes and 47 seconds. So this is how it should be read. So when you mark the planetary position for Lagna, you will add 90 degree to Cancer. So it will become 92, 14 and 47. Similarly, you will apply the degrees to be added. The reference is given here. Now let us move on to the other table shown here. Whenever you cast a horoscope, as you might have seen in the previous video, you will find out the date, time, coordinates. You will also have something called a Ayanamsa. In our case, I have used a true Chitrapaksha Ayanamsa. Now let's move on to the Excel database demo. In this Excel demo, I want to show you how to create a database containing different planetary positions for each individual that you are going to consult. I would like to start with a data validation, because when you are building any tool, you need to have consistent entries being made for planets, rashis, nakshatras, or any astrological construct. You need to have a defined list of these entities that you can repeatedly use in your tool. If you remember, in Indian astrology, we use planets from Sun till Saturn. We have an additional consideration called Lagna or ascendant. We also use two additional mathematical points in Indian astrology, which are the intersection between Sun and Moon path, that is the Rahu and Ketu node. In some of the systems, there are additional variables used for making predictions. One such point is called Mandi, which is referred as Yamman. In some text, they also refer this as Gulika. So these are the 10 variables on which we need to have the astronomical measurements where they are placed when somebody is born. If you look at here, I have created a data validation list from this set of components. I want to show you how to do a data validation here. I have taken a list of all these 10 planets along with the Mandi, and I have created a combined list using a comma separator here. Now I'm going to create a data validation here using data data validation, and then inside I click on data validation here. I have a list. Within the list, I have just copied and pasted the entire list I want to use in the drop down box. Once I do that, I have a list of all the entries that are needed for me in this list. If you note down here, if I change any of the names, you can see that the colors keep changing for those planetary names. If I take Saturn, it will go to blue. If I take Shukra, it will go to dark pink. If I take Chandra, that will become a light pink. So this can be easily achieved. So you go to home, and then you go to conditional formatting. And in conditional formatting, you have options called manage rules. I have created a set of rules here. I will show you how to edit one of those rules. Click on one of these here, cell values, and click on edit rule. You can note here that I have used the second option, format only cells that contain. Within that, I take a cell value which is equal to GU. GU is Guru or Jupiter. So when this value is Jupiter, I want to apply a particular format. In format, you have different options: number, font, border, and fill. In my case, I have used only the color here. I have chosen a different color from this list, and then I clicked on OK. So this is how you create for one rule. Then once you create the rule, then you can click on duplicating the rule and editing it. This component has like 11 components. Only for Lagna, I have chosen two formatting options. One is the font color, then the other one is the fill color. Because Lagna is the beginning part of any horoscope, just to identify it distinctly, I have used this format. Once you create this format one time, so wherever you copy this cell, this format also travels along with that cell, as you remember. Once we are done with the data validation containing a list of planetary entries, this particular cell we will use in all our tool building exercise later. Now let us get back to the whole purpose of this class, so which is nothing but creating a database of planetary positions. If you take any software, that will provide you the list of planets and their ecliptic longitude. So this is the only data that we need for doing any astrological calculations later. So what I have done here is taking this data and putting them in a structured format. In our example here, you may remember that first we need to assign an ID for each individual. The data can be a birth data or a transitory data. So in this case, I have taken the birth detail here, and I have created a horoscope for this person born on this time, and whatever the planetary positions he has, just the way you have Lagna, Surya, Chandra, all of that, I have converted that into a database format. You may remember that this particular cell has an underlying format which is like degree, minute, second. So I just need to enter the numerical values, and then that will automatically add the degree and minute symbols to it. So this is how we need to create a database. In the row number 3, I have shown you entries based off of this particular chart. So I have taken all the planetary positions and I have just entered them. Now I want to show you the chart that I created for 4th February 2023 at 16:45 Madras. And when I cast a horoscope, the Rasi chart will appear like this. And the corresponding planetary positions data is shown here in this diagram. Now I need to make entries based off of this. I have used the ID for whom I am going to look at the horoscope. This is transitory data, so which is current data. And then I have taken the date and time information here when this chart was created. I have created the Lagna degrees. I have created the Surya, Chandra. So whatever I have in this order, I have entered their planetary position longitude in this tabular format. So if you look at the top row here, so the data validation that we created from this exercise, so I have copied that cell and I have used that cell for creating my column names here. Based on the software that you use, choose the order of the planets. So you may work with a different software, or you may work with Jagannath Hora, which follows a different set of pattern. So you may want to follow the variable column names in the same order, just for ease of data entry. So this is one part of the database that you need to create. The other thing you need to get here is which of these planets are in retrograde motion for any horoscope that you are casting. Normally, a true node is recommended. When you use that particular setting in Jagannath Hora in other software, you will notice that some planets are in retrograde motion. In Jagannath Hora, that retrograde motion is indicated by a bracket for any planet. In the software that I use here, the retrograde planets are marked by an underscore. Whatever the planet that are coming as a retrograde motion, you just need to make a note of this planet in a separate set of columns. Sun and Moon never get into a retrograde motion. Lagna doesn't get into a retrograde motion. Only the other 7 planets are involved in retrograde motion. For Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, retrograde motion can be calculated based on the degree between Sun and those planets. But when it comes to inner circle planets like Mercury and Shukra, you will not be able to find out the retrograde motion just based on degree. So it is important that you note it down when you are casting the horoscope and mark a separate entry for those planets in this column. So far, I have shown you how to use data validation and how to use custom format and how to create a database of each individual, as well as when they come for consideration, what is the transitory time that is used for offering their readings. Sometimes you will meet the same native multiple times in future. So whenever they come, you make a note of them, the date and time when you offer the consultation. That's the purpose of this visit number 1 and 2. This database is going to be the core database on which you will dynamically pick and choose different natives. This is going to be your engine on which your entire tool is going to run. Pay close attention and create a database, something like this. This is the data that we will use later for all our calculations. Hope you are able to follow how to create and maintain this database. In the next lesson, we will see how we are going to pick 1 or 2 entries from this database, and then how we are going to cast a chart, something like this. We have seen the Excel database demo so far. Thank you for taking time to watch this video lesson today. See you soon.